I also want to hear your perspective on the market right now, because if anyone goes and they look at the news, they're gonna be like you said, crypto is dying. It's the end of Bitcoin. I mean, Ethereum's down, everything's down, NFTs are dead. I mean, from my viewpoint, I actually feel like this kind of bear market is the perfect time to actually see what matters, what has a utility function, and what is going to be here in like 10 years, and the hype stuff has kind of gone away. But how are you advising the clients who probably outwardly facing are seeing all this news and they're like, I don't even want to get into this space because it's full of hype and fraud and nothing is behind these NFTs. Like, how do you kind of show them that maybe now is actually a good time to kind of dip their feet in?
It's exactly how we're thinking about it. I think that the evolution of crypto happens in microcycles, right? There's different rise of specific things, whether it's art, sports, gaming, collectibles, specific types of coins that are accelerating, specific types of communication channels that are moving. The market development happens in sort of these microcycles, which lead to this like macro waves. And in the past 18 months, we've seen a lot of people join the space. And we also saw a lot of speculative buying, sort of hype-induced buying, a lot of money flying around, and that created some opportunities for projects to really succeed and thrive and build new communities, launch intellectual property. And some of the blue chips in the NFT world are great examples of this, whether we're talking about VFriends or World of Women, Bored Ape Yacht Club, some real communities being built during this past bull run. But at the same time, we also saw some bad behavior that was like, crazy money being made and sucked out of the ecosystem based on things that weren't necessarily like real and tangible, also by people who weren't necessarily business operators. We mentioned Kevin Rose at the beginning of this podcast, and he's a great example of someone who's a proven business operator who's done this many times over. Same thing when you're looking at someone like Gary Vaynerchuk or Bobby Hundred, some of the founders who've jumped into this world of Web3 and looking to build a new community and build a new business that leverages this technology, but is not just based on the hype cycle. So a lot of sort of Web2 innovators have come into this space. Britt Morin's another great example, who founded My BFF with Jamie Schmidt. So I think we are seeing a lot of these like real operators thrive during these conditions, while a lot of the people who got here on hype or got here by being the right place at the right time are struggling to adapt to the conditions and be able to sort of weather this bear. For an enterprise, I think now can be the right time to get involved if you're doing something that has a very clear and specific utility. Whether that is getting access to members only chat or getting access to an exclusive experience or a specific merch drop, there needs to be a utility on the back end, because I think the digital collectible era, we've evolved past that as an industry, and art for art's sake will be the utility. That's a very small fraction of what the entire NFT market will become in the future. And now's a great time for companies who believe in this space to come in without commercial intentions. And I say without commercial intentions because I think what we've seen in the recent weeks is many enterprises who are coming in trying to make money right now are going to learn the hard way that now is not the time for that. Whether we're talking about one of the largest auto manufacturers in the world not getting any bids on their first NFT, or we're talking about large retail manufacturers selling 24 out of 10,000 pieces, we're seeing a lot of cautionary tales in brand land. But at the same time, we're seeing success cases by those who are really looking to add value to this ecosystem without looking to extract immediately. Lacoste is another great example for brands who are doing so in a thoughtful way that provides a direct utility to consumers. So it's a great time for brands to explore if they have a value or if they're looking to do something that gets them into the community without immediate commercialization. But it's not a great time if their intentions are purely commercial, given where the state of the market is today. I think it's an even better time for brands and enterprises to really learn, to listen, and learn what is driving people into cryptocurrency, what is driving people into the world of Web3, and understand the subculture of people who are deeply passionate about this. I think tapping into that super relevant subculture and understanding the motivations are important so that these enterprises can get themselves ready for the next iteration of the internet, which is Web3. So we're spending a lot of time in education, consulting, and strategy modes without feeling like now is the time to really push into commercialization for folks who haven't been part of this before.
Yep. Yeah, that's an awesome take. I know you've talked also about how it's a great way to understand your customer in a way that you couldn't before. Tell me a bit about that, because that to me doesn't feel like you're going to commercialize anything as long as you do it in the right way. So what kind of data do you think is smart to help you understand your customer, and how do you kind of go about that without it feeling like it's like a commercial project that you're just like, yes, give me all your data. I just want to take everything.
Again, it comes back to really giving more than you're taking. So in the example of leveraging NFTs as a way to get a deeper relationship with your consumers, I'll give an example for the VFriends Compete and Collect cards. This was an NFT mint that consumers could buy a VFriend Series 2. And with that, you have the option to fill out your information, your shipping address, personal information, and then you get a set of these Compete and Collect cards, which is a game that Gary's created. With Zero Cool, they come in this nice little green box. Very fun. The vast majority of people who purchase the NFT filled that out. And that then gives a CRM system that is people who are interested in this VFriends ecosystem. Over the last 20 years, we both worked at Google. Retargeting and interest-based targeting became so ubiquitous with how people use the internet. And that's really the currency for how the digital economy runs, is all through ads, right? And it's actually a bit of a broken system where consumers don't necessarily realize that they are the product. And, in order to access all of these services, they're being targeted everywhere they go online. And I think some of the frustration here actually has given rise to this pseudonymous or anonymous trend that we see in the world of Web3, where people don't want to KYC and they don't want to give away their data and they prefer to remain anonymous. So I think that leveraging NFTs is a way to better understand your consumer, what's in their wallet, sometimes even the information like where they live, what they're interested in, if they're willing to give that to you. This is a great way to do so in a way that's very transparent. That transparency really matters, and that sort of consensual data collection really matters for brands. I work with a ton of CPG and consumer companies where their products are primarily sold through retailers and they don't have that direct to consumer connection. So NFTs can allow them to have a deeper connection to their consumers, and the consumers are happy to have that two-way engagement if they're getting utility in the back end. They're happy to say like, great, I can share a little bit more about me if I'm getting access to something that I find valuable. And I think as we see cookies continue to just fade into obsolescence, smart ways to engage consumers in consensual data collection really, really matters. And one platform I'll speak to as being very interesting is Salesforce, because Salesforce runs the largest cloud system of CRM. And what they're building in the world of NFTs and what they're doing with their Web3 Studio team has the potential to really create meaningful connections between brands and their consumers, all sort of powered through a system that is enterprise grade.
Hey, thanks for watching. This segment was made possible by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. If you're looking for the #1 platform for all your commerce needs, go check out salesforce.com/commerce. And don't forget to subscribe below and tap that little bell icon so you can stay on top of all the amazing new segments and full episodes that we'll be putting out over the coming year with some of the best and most influential commerce leaders out there.